Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, I think we're live again. Apologies for everyone. I genuinely don't know what's been happening here. Stream is healthy now. It looks to be good. Let's see here. Loading. There we go. We're live. Okay, guys. So just where we were talking there, in terms of the overall takeover, now we are in a position where it looks like Jim Radcliffe will be winning the takeover race. Now it's very unfortunate. It's not what we wanted to see. I had said all along, and we said this last night, if no resolution comes in, certainly within what, like the next 24 hours, if we do not hear by this time tomorrow, I think it has to be I think it has to be accepted that this just is not going to happen. That's the send filthy man. Yeah, appreciate it, mate. Do you know what it is? I think it's genuinely because my whole house at the moment is running Netflix, running Disney, and everything else. So like me trying to stream is also like eating up a lot of the internet. Big T saying all good now. Hopefully that's better. Hopefully we're gonna work out just okay. So I will take the other one down. In spare time. And Stephanie's in there, can hear you loud and clear. Big up to you. Cheers. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for letting me know. It's good to see that we're back. You know what it's like? Everybody has same time everybody wants on the internet. So I'm gonna look and buy myself like a private internet hub or something just for streaming purposes. Satman's in there with the Glazers out. Yes, man, thank you very much for that. I do agree as well. Get the Glazers out of the club. I mean, we are so done with them at this point. We are just at the point now where everything has ground to a halt once again with this takeover. And now I will get this in for anybody who did miss the previous one. Sheikh Sim, absolutely frustrated just to get us back to where we were and to the talking point. Sheikh Sim, he is genuinely calling this a joke at this point. The man, I am sure, is absolutely fuming. Rajat saying hello. It's good to see you guys back. Thank you very much for bearing with me there, for hopping on over onto a separate stream. A lot better seemingly. And yeah, YouTube's telling me it's YouTube's telling me it's good. Big T saying make everyone in your house read a book when you're streaming, lol. Do you know what, man? Honestly, yeah, I'm like, you guys have Sky down there. Like, just put the TV on. You don't need Netflix and everything all at once. It's an RDI stream. Come on. But yes. So where were we? Just kind of get back on track with everything. So Sheikh Sim absolutely frustrated. He is annoyed at this. He is definitely not looking good. In terms of his overall bid. Now, of course, we say this from a lot of other people. Sheikh Sim, Simon Sung was saying, transitional, simple. It would just be completely clearing the debt. Would be completely upfront money, cash in hand. There's your money. Off you go, Glazers. I mean, that's kind of where we're sitting at the moment now. What do we make of it? I mean, it's annoying. I think we're at the point now where we want this done. We want to be moving on. And it's not being done yet. Rajat saying, not now negotiations are meant to go. Can't request one price and then get greedy. Yep, I mean, completely agree. I think the biggest thing fueling this is basically Radcliffe and Sheikh Sim himself. Both of them have gone in with bid after bid after bid. And it seems to be a case of whenever one of them puts a bid in, all of a sudden, a day later, the other one will come in with a better bid. And the Glazers have played the two sides off each other very well. And they're now in a position where they're going to get total 5.5 billion from Jim Radcliffe for 50% of the club. Or they're going to get Sheikh Sim putting 5.3 billion for 100% of their shares. I mean, those guys are walking away from this with a clean fortune. They have absolutely played both sides off each other very well. This is what they do. They are not great businessmen, but they are very good at making themselves money. That's what they're good at. And they always have been good at it. And it's always been to our detriment as a club. It's always been against United that it's worked out that way. But that's what those guys do. They come and they manage to buy the club with a leveraged buyout, basically paid very, very little to buy the club overall. And then whenever that happened, they've sat back and they've took all of the debt. They've took all of the dividends out and they've made an absolute fortune, and they will be billionaires by the time the sale is done, even if they do not sell 100% of the club. And I mean, come on, like It is very, very frustrating. According to Mike Keegan, this is something breaking brand news, so I will bring this to you guys. Conclusion to Manchester United's takeover is likely over the coming days. I think it's not something that is particularly new to us fans, to us guys following this all takeover long. The process has been going on for weeks upon weeks, months upon months. I don't think this is anything to be expected, but it's good to have confirmation from it from guys who are in the know and close to the actual deal itself. If it's going to be resolved soon, I think that's better for us as a club. Stephanie is saying greedy Glazers want to be billionaires and still own United. Yep, and completely agree. And if Radcliffe wins and if it's his offer, then that's what's going to happen. They are going to get billions to stay on, and it's very frustrating. Big T's saying Liverpool got McAllister for an initial fee of 35 million, and we are being held hostage 70 million for Mount. That's just how bad this club is at negotiating. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It is very frustrating. I mean, other teams, these deals can be done. Liverpool do it very regularly. They go out and get players far under their market value. I mean, if we went for Gakpo, it probably would have been 50, 60 million. If we wanted to get, we wanted to buy Sadio Mane before he went to Liverpool, it was like 40 million and they got him for 30. When clubs see United coming, they know that they can absolutely rinse us, get as much money out of us as possible. They know they can do it, and they have done it for many, many years. Innocent is saying the Glazers are not serious. I mean, they're not serious in terms of looking the best for the club. What they are serious about is getting as much money as possible. That's what it's been about the entire time with this takeover. That's what it's all about. And yeah, so moving on to Mason Mount, a player we do want to touch on because some brand new news has came out. Brand new news. That's a hard one for me to say. David Ornstein, while speaking on Vibe with Five, has said, of course, Manchester United are hoping to compromise £55 million for Mason Mount with Chelsea. How do we stand on this deal? I mean, I like Mount as a player. I have got a scout video coming out probably tomorrow. I think he could fit very, very nicely. But is the guy worth 55 million? No. Chelsea wants 70 million. Is he worth 70 million? Absolutely no chance. You're looking at a guy who, at most, should be costing around 40 million. That's probably his level. That's probably where he is at a player. Can he be good? Yes. Does he have a lot of good qualities? Yeah, but he does need to not be as overpriced. Who else is in the comments? Lucky Singh is in there. Good to see you, man, as always. And Abebe is saying first one is Glazer out, Sheikh Jassim in. I want Mason Mount, Safan, Kane, and Mane would be a very good transfer window. That for sure. Is a lot of talk, of course, about Harry Kane potentially going to Real Madrid. So that's one to keep an eye out on for sure. Who else is in there as well? Innocent is saying, hey, I am here, guys. I love United, but these Glazers, they are not serious. No, they're completely not. They're not. And Rajat is saying, when are fans going to know? I think what we have to do, I think there will not be any official confirmation. What we have to do is just look between the lines. We have to see what's happening. I think it will be very obvious to everybody if tomorrow Sheikh Jassim pulls out of the negotiations. That clearly will mean Jim Radcliffe as the owner. No doubts in my mind about that. Rajat is saying Jim is the broke billionaire and we do not need that. Look at Nice. I mean, Nice hasn't been a good, definitely hasn't been a good time for Jim Radcliffe there. They did expect to be a Champions League club. They did expect a lot of progress. They didn't get that in the end. So that's definitely a concern. I mean, it is the same at other clubs. There's a lot of clubs where things haven't gone well. Do we think Radcliffe is going to be a really, really horrendously bad owner? I don't know. I think a lot of it will depend on how the club is run. I mean, if he goes out and gets some top-level executives, scouts, directors of football, I don't know, maybe we could be in a better place. But you do have to question where he's coming at, especially with keeping the Glazers on. That's my big thing. Honestly, I think that is the biggest reason why I love Radcliffe and I do not want him at the club. I think it's just if he came and he didn't want to keep the Glazers on, absolutely, I think that's fine. But I think willing to work with those guys does show that a lot of what he has said about being a United fan, being chastised in the club by his friends to go buy United because they've been playing so badly for years. I think that's just been all PR. It's just been a spin story. He also is in the comment. Lee Sharp is saying nobody wants their Jim, do they? I think a couple people do, and I think unfortunately for everybody who wants Qatar as an owner, I think the Glazers want Jim Radcliffe, and I think that is the biggest thing. And those are the guys selling the club at the end of the day as well. Big T says, wonder if the Friday deadline is our time, your time, or Qatar time. All 3 Fridays end at different time. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I'm honestly not sure. It might be a case that it's uh, Eastern Time America, to run side with the New York Stock Exchange, which United are, of course, a public company listed on that. Maybe that could be what Friday deadline they're talking about, in which case that would be what, like 8 o'clock tomorrow UK time. So that might be what we're working at. That might be the deadline that we're talking about. Who else is in there? Lucanio is saying good evening to everyone. Hope everyone is well. Good to see you, man. Thank you very much for the comment. Lucky Singh says, Big T, Sheikh Jassim has done all he can. I do think he kind of has. I don't think he will put in any more bids. So I do kind of agree with that as well. Innocent is saying, I'm worried about United. If the team can't change ownership, will be a massive problem next season. Absolutely. I think not having the new owners coming in already has put us at a massive disadvantage in this transfer window, and I think that's really hurting this club. And I'm sure if you guys spoke to Eric Ten Hag, if we could ring Eric Ten Hag up and say, Eric, has your transfer plans been interrupted by the Glazers not selling the club? But he's going to say, of course. He is definitely going to say, of course. Who else is down there in the comments? Plenty of people joining in. Lee Sharp is saying, no one will, the farce will still drag on and on and on. Boring. Yes, I mean, I agree. It's tiresome. I think it is obviously so important to where United are going as a club. Obviously so crucial. And what really matters is getting this right. But it's gone on for so long. This is what the Glazers have done all the time. They have always found a way to hang on, drag things out, take the passion out, take the sting out, make the fans feel tired about takeovers, about them going, about transfers. And every once in a while they'll throw a bone like, oh, Sheikh Sims put a bid in. That's not great, because that's kind of just what they've done the entire time. They've managed to divide the fan base. They've managed to drag things out, and they're continuing to do that. Just that. Who else is in there? Mr. Shack Attack is saying my biggest worry is sort of surgeon is that we certainly don't know what he plans to do. I mean, yeah, I mean, it is, what is the guy gonna do? I think one thing I think that Qatar have done very well is they have sold themselves to the United fan base. They have sold themselves, made it very clear, very obvious what they want to do with the club should they be successful in buying it. And I think they've done well with that. Now, on the other hand, Jim Radcliffe hasn't been very clear with what he wants to do. And where is he looking to take the club? Does he want to invest in the team, first of all? Does he want to invest in Old Trafford? Does he want new training facilities? There's been a real lack of any real clear direction, any kind of pledges, any kind of, this is what I want to do. We haven't had that. What Jim Radcliffe has done, the only thing he really has said for certain is he wants to put the Manchester back in Manchester United. That's it. That is basically it, man. Who else is in there? Rajat is saying big protest when they end up keeping hold. Absolutely, there will be a big protest if that happens. I don't think it will. There certainly will be a new owner. Even if it is only majority owner, there will be a new ownership for sure. Lucky Singh says Darcy, Brian, and Edward will take the money to Dubai and invest it. I mean, they probably will. They'll be making billions off a club that they haven't touched. They haven't even stepped inside of the stadium, so they absolutely will. It is generally one of the all-time fleece jobs, one of the all-time scam jobs, by the Glazer family. Fans at Nice don't like him at all. He's done nothing, and he felt Nice have gone backwards under his ownership. Obviously, a lot of Nice fans are not happy. We did see, of course, Nice players coming out and saying that and apologising for the board and the owners and how it's been run as a club. So it doesn't look good on that end. Who else is in there as well? Big T saying, I'm sick of us being the theatre of drama. I expect a Netflix series covering the Glazers trolling fans. I mean, yeah, man, it does kind of feel like an episode of Impractical Jokers, and it's just Chick to Sim getting pranked on, and Jim Radcliffe, and it's just Joel and Avram sitting in a wee room with their phone going, yeah, asking for another billion, asking for another billion. That's what we think we're dealing with at the moment. Daz is saying they're mugging up both owners like they have done with the fans for what, like 18 years? Absolutely. Jinwe is saying, I reckon we can get mine for 60 million plus 10 million in add-ons. We went for 60, they want 80, gonna take the middle price. Good for both sides. Thank you very much for that. So that, of course, is in relation to the Mason Mount deal. Now, we have got it in the comments coming from David Ornstein on Bible 5 with Rio Ferdinand. Chelsea expect £70 million plus £10 million in add-ons for Mason Mount. I think they can go do one for that. I don't think Mason Mount is worth that. I don't think United will pay that kind of money this year. If there is big concerns over how much money we have, why would we go out and spend 70, 80 million pounds on Mason Mount? I just don't see us doing it. I just don't think that's going to happen. Certainly not in the long run. I don't think. And if we are working with a smaller budget, can we afford to spend, what, 70 million on Mason Mount? I don't think so. I genuinely don't think that's the way to go with it, and I would be surprised. Who else is in there in the comments? We're seeing a shade is saying, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining with us, man. Much appreciated as always. And who else is down there? Lucky Singh says you will take the money at this point. Yeah, I mean, they have to take it. I mean, Jinwei is also saying, what is the thing of the Glazers trolling United fans all about? I mean, I don't know if it's active trolling. I think it's just them guys looking money. They don't care what we think as fans. They don't care what we care about the club. They don't care about the club. They just want one thing and one thing only, and that is money. And that's what it's always been about. It's always been money with those guys. It is always will be money with those guys. So do fully expect more and more of this endless takeover negotiations. Very frustrating, very annoying, and hopefully Mike Keegan is right when he says we're getting towards the conclusion, because honestly, guys, I'm really tired of this. I mean, I'm sure you guys are as well. I am absolutely done with this. I want to see us move on. I want to see it go further. Who else is in here as well? Lee Sharp saying, truthfully, lads, how much for Harry Maguire? Has just signed a new is it true he's just signed a new contract? I don't think he has. I haven't seen anything about a Maguire contract, thankfully. But I do think we will sell him. Definitely talks of Spurs, of West Ham potentially being interested. So I do think we'll sell him for sure. Who else is down there in the comments? Ashid saying, how was your day today? Yeah, do you know what, man? It wasn't good. Not too bad. I mean, just working and stuff, and then coming back. Got the stream up earlier, and then got done in by lag. Everything seemed to go wrong. Basically, everybody in the house said, I'm going to watch Netflix and YouTube all at once, just when I was going live. So we had a very laggy 10-minute stream, but we do seem to be running a lot smoother now. How was your day as well, man? Let me know down below. Pastor Milner is saying, don't give Sir Jim to manage the club. I mean, I hope not, man. But I do think it's going to happen, unfortunately. Who else is down there? DVJ is saying we need a versatile striker. I do agree. And that man, for me, has to be Rasmus Højlund. I think in terms of the price tag, 40 to 45 million for a 20-year-old striker, very good form this season. I think that will be a good idea. I think that will be a smart transfer all thing around, because you're looking at a guy who you'll be bang at the right time, who would go on and improve at the club. Because otherwise, this is what we normally do. We go out, we go and say, right, okay, yep, you go to Dortmund, you go to Benfica, and then in a season's time we go, okay, let's buy this guy for £90 million. We've done it with Moses Caicedo. We've done it so many times. I mean, Caicedo's the obvious one. Brighton want 90 million for him, but we wouldn't pay 4 million for him 2 seasons ago. That's the obvious one. That's obviously how we run as a club. Who else is down there? Now McCabe is saying Christy Corey is a closet Glazer fan. Um, good to see you, mate. Thanks very much for joining in with us. I would agree with that. Better off in the lower division. Big T says any words on the young defender? Can't remember his name, Diassi or anything like that. Do you know what, man? There was talk about Axel Diassi. I think um we were talking with Fabrizio Romano had said about this. Now, what basically seems to be the scenario is that we have Kim Min Jae, and he is the number one choice. He is the guy that we want to bring in as the centre back signing. Axel Diassi is what Romano is calling the plan B. He is the guy who we go to if we cannot get Kim Min Jae for whatever reason, be it he signs that new contract at Napoli, be it United decide to go elsewhere. He will be the backup. That's what the most likely scenario is with that one. How do we feel about that? I mean, I like Kim Min Jae as a player. I haven't seen a lot of Axel Diassi, but I do think that he would be a pretty good signing, all things considered. And I do think we need another centre back. We're losing Phil Jones, we're losing Eric Bailly, Harry Maguire will be sold, Axel Tuanzebe leaving for free, basically. So if all that happens, all of a sudden the centre backs are Varane, Martinez, and Victor Lindelof, and we need somebody else. I would like Kim Min Jae. I think he would be absolutely perfect for this team. Who else is down there? Lucky Singh is saying McTominay and Maguire will not play anymore. I mean, there's a good chance of it. I think McTominay could be sold. I think Maguire will be sold. A lot of it comes down to money. A lot of it comes down to wages as well. I hope West Ham snap Maguire up for 33 million. I mean, I'm sure Eric Ten Hag does as well. Definitely he would love that because that means we've got a decent price for Harry Maguire. We can invest it back into the team and that could be a lot better for us. All things considered. So Kim Min Jae, definitely a player we do want to bring in. Definitely a lot of talk about it. I would think he would be absolutely brilliant. If Kim Min Jae wants to leave, why would he sign a new contract? There has been talk of that, of course, Big T, yes. Talk of Kim Min Jae signing a new contract. I think he's kind of in a position now where he's like he can either stay at Napoli or he can move on, and it is down to him at the end of the day. Now there was talk that he would be very happy to come to United. That was something we have seen for several weeks. All depends. If he does sign that new contract, it gives Napoli the opportunity to go out and demand a lot more money for his services this season. If we got him for 40 million, that's a bargain. Absolutely no doubt about it. But they can go out and then invest that money in somewhere else. So it kind of could be like Kim Min Jae trying to strengthen Napoli's hand. Something I don't want to see happen. Was a lot of talk about personal terms being agreed as well. Definitely hasn't come to fruition. That's why we always look at more trustworthy sources because we know that people will eventually lie about this stuff. Lucky Singh saying Urian Timber. Yes, I think Timber would be brilliant. I think there was reports coming out that Eric Ten Hag would prefer to bring in Kim Min Jae because he's more of a centre back. Of course, Urian Timber, he does play centre back, can also fill in at right back. He could come in potentially playing a back three with United and give us a lot more versatility. But then we're looking at issues of height as well because Timber is 5'10, Lisandro Martinez is 5'9. That could be exploited by some teams. Now Martinez, we know he's good in the air, we know he can compete, but he can't do it all. And if we do bring in Kim Min Jae, that's a guy who's a heading monster, a tackling monster. He is absolutely so difficult to get past. We actually do have some stats as well, just whenever it's came up here for me. So the best two players in all of Europe for stopping other players going past them, for dribbling past them, Kim Min Jae and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That would make us very defensively assured. No doubt in my mind about that. But I do think Kim Min Jae will be a really good signing for us. It all depends on where Eric Ten Hag wants to invest this money, where he wants to go with it, because we will not, unfortunately, we will not have an endless supply of money. We will not have that bottomless pit that we have been craving. We've been looking for a lot of investment. Doesn't look like we're going to get as much as we need, as much as we want, all things considered, which is disappointing. But we will see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I would love to see Kim Min Jae come into the club. But one player potentially coming into the club, or a position, should I say, going to be goalkeeper. Now, it's come out today that Manchester United, of course, have already let Jack Butland go. Dean Henderson, very likely to be going to Nottingham Forest. So that leaves space for a number 2 goalkeeper. Now, all things considered, there was talk of United going in for the likes of Diogo Costa or Onana from Inter Milan, potentially David Raya as well. But I think it's more likely that we're going to go for a cheaper goalkeeper. Somebody come in younger who will challenge De Gea. I think a lot of us would prefer a new goalkeeper brought in full stop, but I don't think we are going to get that just yet. So let me just double check here. Now, this is interesting because an agreement has been reached with David De Gea, but United haven't yet signed the document. United are closely monitoring the goalkeeper market, and Eric Ten Hag wants somebody to really challenge David De Gea should he stay. That's coming from Laurie Whitwell. That's coming from The Athletic, of course, a very good source, and someone we do trust with United issues. What do we think about this? I think we do need a keeper. I think with everything going on and where we currently stand, I think a goalkeeper is going to be an important signing. There was talk, of course, earlier about David Raya. Now, Brentford, they're asking for 40 million for a guy with a year left on his contract. I think that's a ludicrous deal. Is it the sort of deal United just take anyway? Yes, it is, because this is what we do as a club. We go out and we spend stupid money on players that we shouldn't spend. I mean, I think Big T said earlier on, Liverpool got McAllister for 35 million. We would not get close to that whatsoever. So this is coming from Sky Sports, and they're saying neither Manchester United or Tottenham Hotspur want to pay £40 million for David Raya. Brentford are standing firm on their asking price. United want 2 goalkeepers competing for the number 1 position next season. So, competition, yep, that's good. We will happily take that, of course. What do we want? Do we want a new goalkeeper to be the number 1? Or do we want a backup goalkeeper? That's what I'm going to ask you guys. Would you guys like a new goalkeeper or a young backup keeper brought in? Who else is down there in the comment? Lee Sharp is saying out, out, out. And of course, Lucky Singh is saying Dean Henderson gone and McTominay and Maguire leaving as well. Definitely possible. I think all things considered, looking at who we're potentially selling this year, if we are going to be relying on sales to bring in extra money, I think we have to look at selling some bigger players who will bring in some money. Lee Sharp is saying, De Gea been awesome. Some fans are deluded. Lad saved us more than enough. I mean, yeah, he definitely has saved us a lot of times over the years. I think what we need is a new goalkeeper as well, though. I think when we consider if Butland has gone, Tom Heaton hasn't signed a new contract, Dean Henderson is being sold, Kovar wants to stay in Prague apparently as well. So I think regardless, we do need to bring a goalkeeper in. It's just how much we're going to spend on that position. Are we going to go big for a Diogo Costa at like 70 million? Or do we bring in somebody like a young goalkeeper like Verbruggen, somebody 20 years old playing for Genk in the Belgian league, looks very promising, potentially a long-term option there. Is that what we're going to go for? Now, there has been talk in the recent days of David De Gea potentially going to Saudi Arabia. He has shut those rumours down. He will be staying at United. That does seem to be the most likely outcome of David De Gea's contract negotiations. Lucky Singh is saying Maguire exit next, Roma could buy Maguire. I mean, imagine there would be something funny about Roma sitting with Chris Smalling and Harry Maguire as their centre backs. It could be like Gareth Southgate will be loving watching Roma all of a sudden. But certainly for me, I think Maguire will be a player leaving. I think we do need to bring in a goalkeeper, all things considered, be it a starter, be it a backup goalkeeper, somebody young to come and challenge De Gea over a long period of time. I do think we need to bring somebody in for sure. Definitely with Dean Henderson leaving, very, very good prospect of it happening. I think hopefully, we will have a lot of clarification coming up. I think all things considered, the first signing, is most likely going to be Mason Mount. I think it seems to be down to just going out and agreeing a deal. Certainly that's what David Ornstein has been saying that personal terms will not be an issue. Romano has said the same thing as well. Personal terms are not a problem with Mason Mount. The only issue is going to be agreeing a fee with Chelsea. Now, do I think he will come to United and be a star player? Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. I've watched a bit of Mount. We've covered him in a video, which will be dropping tomorrow, of course. But I do think Mount comes in as an interesting player, somebody who will offer quite a bit, all things considered. And Peter Boyle has been saying as well on Mason Mount that if it goes through, it will go for around about 60 million. I think that's a fair price. I think that's what a lot of you guys have been saying. I think that's where we're probably going to be sitting at, is going to be 60 million from Mason Mount. And how do we feel about that? I don't know. I mean, I think he's £45 million. I think that's the most you play for Mason Mount. I think that is the highest price that I think he's worth. I think he's a pretty good player. Is he a world beater player? No, he's not. But he could make a bit of a difference at the club. We do need depth. We do need players to come in and offer some more and be there for rotation. We've seen this season when Christian Eriksen has dropped out of the team, we have suffered as a result. What we have to do, bring in some depth, bring in some quality. Mason Mount could be just that. But as Lucky Singh says, if it's 57 million, it's okay. I think in and around that price range, probably okay. But you're also looking at a guy with 1 year left on his contract. You're also looking at a guy who isn't coming off the best season either. He's definitely not had a best season of his career last year. And before last season, the season before that, when Chelsea won the Champions League, of course, 13 goals, 10 assists. Last season, 3 goals, 6 assists. Now, it's a big drop-off. Were Chelsea absolutely awful across the pitch last season? Yes. Did Mount play his role in that? I'm sure he did as well. But I do think he is a player who will be coming to United. It does look like it could be happening. I think he sounds like a player. I think, honestly, you could probably compare him to where Rashford was last season. A player coming off a very poor season in a team who's had the worst campaign they've had in 20-25 years. Let's see there. Comments are coming in as well, guys, so keep getting your comments in. Big T is saying, I wouldn't offer more than 40 million. He's alright, but he's not what we need. And Lee Sharp is saying, why is Sir Jim even being considered? Won't clear the debt, won't fix Old Trafford, wants the Glazers to stay. It's like a nightmare. It is. I think when you break it down like that, it does seem like a nightmare. You're talking about the whole point of this takeover, the whole point us fans have wanted this for years upon years, is we want the Glazers gone. So if you told us by the end of all that transfer deal that United would be still having the Glazers there, I don't think we would have took that. I think we would have been angry, and I think there will be anger. We are seeing it in the fan base at the moment, across the club, across all match day going fans, all fans online, everything. We are seeing this all across the club. Lee is saying not worth 80 million in terms of Mason Mount. I don't think he is, man. Chelsea, I think they will put out a very high asking price. I think they'll try to get as much money, because those guys, like, at some stage they have to start trying to comply with fair play rules. They have to do it at some point, you imagine, and they probably do want to go out and see how much they can get for Mount. I think he is their most likely sale this summer. I think a guy who hasn't signed a new contract, I think there's definitely big potential there for him to go, and I hope he does. I mean, I don't mind him as a player. I think he's a very, very good player, all things considered, but he's not worth £80 million. He is not worth that much whatsoever. I think 40 million, as Big T said, 40, 45 is a fair enough indicator. I mean, is he twice as good as Alexis McAllister? No, he's not. I mean, we know he's not. So that's what you're comparing it off. Compare it off what's going on in the market for similar players in the Premier League. Is he worth twice as much as what Alexis McAllister is? No, he's not. He's not. Is he worth around the same? He probably is, but I think Chelsea will come down on this. I think they eventually will cave in on the price tag. Lucky Singh says we are not giving them 80 million. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I hope not. I really hope we don't do it. Knowing United, I mean, anything is possible with this club. We did pay £80 million for Harry Maguire. Do not be surprised. Robert Bailey is saying fans won't accept the Glazers trying to stay, amend your offer, Sir Jim, or leave it to Qatar. Thank you very much for that, Robert. I do agree. We want those Glazers gone. We've had those guys in charge, what, for 18 years now? I've had enough of them. You guys have had enough of them. The entire fan base has had enough of them. We wanted them gone all along. This was the point. We don't protest. Look, put it this way: the 1950 progress. Those weren't. We want Glazers to have minority ownership. Those weren't. We want Glazers to stay on an advisory role. That wasn't. We want Glazers to keep 20%. Fans marched, fans protested, and fans got arrested to get the Glazers out. Glazers out, that means total sale to me. That's all that's meaning definitely for me. Big T is saying we should be looking at Caicedo for 80 million. I think, oh man, Caicedo, brilliant player, unbelievable. And I would love to see him at United. I would have liked him whenever we were first linked, when he was like £4 million, right before he went to Brighton. I think we were heavily linked. We were very close to getting the guy. And I think a lot of people looked then and said, this guy, very talented, very young, could be very good, would be worth taking a punt on for £4 million. We didn't do it. We did not take the offer. We went for Donny van de Beek instead, paid for about £40 million for Donny, and now Donny van de Beek might go for what, like £4 million, and Caicedo's going for 80 million. Like, Ari is saying, we need early signings. 50 would be acceptable for Mount. Thank you very much for that, man. I do agree. Early signings will be key. Eric Ten Hag wants early signings done. We go on pre-season tour at the start of July. He will want as many players brought in between now and then as possible, because that means we can go get a full pre-season. They can get to know the squad. They can learn their role, learn how to play in the system, get some chemistry going with their teammates on the pitch, build a bit of team spirit as well. It's very difficult to come into a team halfway through a season. Very, very difficult. And it was the same last season. I'm sure you guys remember. I mean, we went on pre-season. Our only signings were Lisandro Martinez, Tyrell Malacia, and Christian Eriksen. It took us until middle of August to go out and eventually buy Casemiro. And it took us even longer to go and get Anthony. And neither Anthony or Casemiro were playing consistent matches until after the first international break. I actually think Casemiro's first start came against Everton away in like October. So we want to avoid that. We want to go out and have business done early. It gives us the best chance, gives Eric Ten Hag the best opportunity to work with these players and teach them their role in this system, work on what he wants to work on, improve on things, and then we can go on and push on. Who else is down there in the comments? Rajat says, why have Chelsea gone up with the price? Come on. Lucky is saying, Ari says, agrees 50 to 57 max. And Rajat is saying, Mount isn't worth more than 50. I think we have consensus, guys. I think we have settled on a fair price. I hope United can do the same. Lipstick is down there as well, saying Brighton were not good this season because of their midfield. They're good because of their wingers. The fact is they'll flop at Liverpool and Arsenal. I mean, it might do. They might do. I think a lot of what Brighton have done well this season is their system. They're definitely a very system-orientated team. De Zerbi has done a fantastic job at coaching them into that system, working on what Graham Potter had, but he's improved them a lot. They've got a lot more goals coming now than they ever had under Graham Potter. They have improved as a team, no doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, it's all a question about their wingers, their midfielders. I think looking at the players they've sold, a lot of them haven't been big successes in other places. Cucurella hasn't been great at Chelsea, of course. Basuma, very anonymous for Tottenham all season. Ben White went to Arsenal, of course. Now he has been good, but he hasn't been £15 million good yet, in my opinion anyway. So I do think they work in a system very nicely. Big T says, is anyone else interested in Mount? That tells you a lot. In terms of other clubs looking at Mount, I believe Liverpool and Arsenal were at one point. Liverpool, they've obviously gone for McAllister. They might have thought Mount was too expensive. Arsenal, they've moved away from that as well. So it is pretty much a clear run at them eventually. Lee Sharp says 4 players to go: Maguire, McTominay, Martial, and Fred. Thank you very much for that, man. I wouldn't disagree with you. I think Maguire definitely will be sold this year. I think McTominay, I think he should be sold. Martial absolutely should be gone as well, and hopefully Fred goes as well. I mean, Fred's not the worst on that list, but I wouldn't mind. Um, I think we can definitely improve on him next season. Lucky Singh says McTominay go to Newcastle, more football he play there, even West Ham ideally. And Lee says Newcastle on the up will be a team to watch. They definitely are a team on the up. Very, very defensively good, and they have some star quality in there, and expect a big transfer window out of Newcastle United this summer. Absolutely no doubt in my mind about it. And they will go out and spend a lot of money. Who else is down there? Rajat says, yep, Liverpool, Arsenal and City, they wanted Enzo. Why not tear up Mag's deal? I think, is that Enzo Fernandez? I mean, Enzo Fernandez would have been brilliant for United. I think even watching him for Chelsea over this season, he's a guy you're like, he's better than everybody else in that team. I think Enzo Fernandez, Casemiro would have been a lovely, lovely partnership in the middle of United's midfield. Would have given us a lot of control, would have given us a lot of strength in the middle. I think Enzo's a very, very good player. And who else is down there? Lucky Singh saying Newcastle United has players ownership, and then I think that's Saudi flags. Yeah, I mean, they do have that Saudi ownership. It will be big for them next season, no doubt about it. They will definitely go out, invest a lot of money in that team. Jinwa is saying, just goes to show you how attractive Liverpool is, but it also shows they cannot compete because they do not spend money. Spend to get top four is different than going for the Prem. Absolutely. I think one of the big things with Liverpool, they managed to basically go on a run, and runs like this are very, very difficult to have in football, where you go out and you get signing after signing right, basically no misses. Klopp went on a run. He got Alisson, he got Salah, he got in Van Dijk, he brought in Andy Robertson at the same sort of time. Matip came in, of course, Fabinho. They were all big successes. It doesn't happen every single time. It's very difficult, of course, to get these right transfer window after transfer window. I'm hoping that Erik ten Hag can get it right this year. I'm hoping he can go out and have a really good window. If we can go out and add as much quality as what we did last season, if we can go out and improve in the same ways that we did last year, I think we could be on for a very good summer. I mean, look at our signings last season. Lisandro Martinez, massive success. Casemiro, massive success. Christian Eriksen, he did good for a free transfer. Who else? Anthony, yep, again, pretty good season, all things considered. Malacia came in, he did his job. If we can go and bring in 2 or 3 star quality players, I think we could be on for another good window, so I back him. Rajat says, will Maguire go to Spurs? He could do. I think that's a quite realistic signing. I think Harry Maguire wouldn't look at Tottenham as too much of a step down from Manchester United. I think that probably tells a lot about his ambition as a player, but I mean, the truth is he probably wouldn't look at it as a big step down. Who else is down there? Lee is saying Liverpool beat us 7-0. They did, of course, man. Who else is down there? Rajat saying, what about James Ward-Prowse from Southampton? Yeah, I mean, I don't mind James Ward-Prowse. But I mean, I saw Southampton looking £52 million for him. Who else is down there? Jinwa is saying that's why I want Qatar for United. It makes it easier if you have the money, and you can even change a player until you find the one you like. I do think that's a good point. A lot of players, when they come to United, if they do not succeed, they tend to just hang around, be in the club for ages upon ages. Rodney is down there saying, how the hell do you know Jim is winning? I don't think we do know that Jim's winning. I think what we can do is kind of put things together from the evidence we have. I think very unfortunately, Sheikh Dussim has said if he does not get his bid accepted by tomorrow, that's it. He will walk away because he is fed up with the overall negotiations. He thinks that it's a bit of a joke. He has said this. This has come out from Sky Cava, and I do agree. I think he is definitely frustrated, and I think the reason why Jim is supposedly winning this race is because he is offering a lot of money to keep the Glazers there as well. And I think they will probably take that deal and then they can move on from there. They will sit and hold out, and Radcliffe will have to buy them all out over again in a couple of seasons for even more money. So, who else is down there? How did Pep, like how Pep did with Joe Hart and Ederson, because he had the money, he was allowed to do that. Yeah, I mean, Pep brought in a lot of fullbacks, a lot of defenders to get his system right. I mean, the guy has at the moment Ruben Diaz, Laporte, John Stones, Akanji, Nathan Ake. That's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous in terms of centre backs. I mean, and it isn't just there. I mean, he's able to take Kevin De Bruyne off in the FA Cup final and put Phil Foden on. We cannot dream of that. Whenever we were in the FA Cup final against them, we went out and we put Wout Weghorst on. And that was our signing. That was our big sub, the big difference maker we had. Lee is saying no one's coming close to City treble, still miles away. Sorry, it's the truth. I mean, we are definitely a long way off Man City. Now, can we get there with the right ownership, with the right management, investment, players brought in? Yes, I do think we can. It will take a long time though. So it's a case of either invest massive amounts of money or try to get it right every single time. Who else is down there? Innocent is saying, I love United. I hate to see the team defeated by small teams. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. It's definitely something very frustrating. Whenever we look at United slipping up against smaller clubs, it is annoying. I mean, not beating Southampton at home this season, losing against West Ham at the London Stadium, definitely another one, getting beaten by Brentford 4-0. I mean, small teams have done well against us, unfortunately. He else is down there as well. Lipstick is saying Ericsson is so slow, and that's why we need Mount speed to win games. I do think legs, I do think energy, youthfulness that Mason Mount has will be a big attribute. He's a good presser of the ball. I think Ericsson has his place in matches where we will be holding a lot of possession, where the other team's going to sit back. I think Ericsson's very good to play in those matches. Shouldn't be playing in the big matches though. He will and does get found out very often. Rajat is saying Pep had to go to 3, 4, 5 fullbacks to get what he wants. Absolutely. And Mount. Mount is technically or very technically good. I think Mount is a technically good player. He's a good reader of space. He's a smart player as well. He does know where to pop up in the box to find a little bit of space, either to play it forward or to have a shot himself. Who else is down there? Innocent is saying good night. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining with us, man. Lucky is saying we're gonna need investment, guys. Absolutely, investment, investment, investment. So important in this football club, and it's what we need to do. Who else is down there? Lipstick is saying this is the best City team, and they only beat one of the top 9 away at home this season. Yeah, I mean they did. They did. I think it goes to show that Arsenal big time bottled the Premier League this year, because Arsenal, they were the better team across most of the season, and then at the end they slipped up when things got intense for them. Lee is saying, I will say we're not playing well, but we got third. Imagine new players coming in who want to play football. We will be back on top. Come on, United. Thank you very much for that, man. Love the positivity. I do agree. I think we did it with a good season. We didn't always play well, but we can improve. Get the manager the players he needs. Let's see where we can go from here, because we are playing a half system. We are lacking in many areas. I think with a striker coming in, that will be a big change. Bring in a striker, I think all of a sudden this team is winning 3 or 4 extra matches a season. That's my thoughts on that one. Lucky is saying we'll get more money into the club. Let's hope so. Rajat is saying lots of money. We do need lots of money. Lipstick is saying, I was saying that already. Jinwa says, do we need a player like Mount to win that FA Cup final? I don't think he would have hurt. I mean, he probably would have offered a lot more than what Christian Eriksen offered in the FA Cup final. He would have been more pressing, would have been more proactive. I think a striker as well. I think if we had a striker to come in, offer a threat as well, hold the ball up, I think that will help us a lot moving forward. Lucky Singh is saying we could sell McTominay to West Ham for £28 million. I mean, I hope so. Those guys did just win the Conference League last night. Declan Rice is leaving. Maybe Scott McTominay is the guy to replace him. Who else is down there? Is that Nebulous? Is it? Luke Shaw, Raya, Kim Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Mount, Casemiro, Bruno, Rashford, Lautaro and Anthony. That could be a brilliant starting lineup for next season. Would really enjoy watching those players together. A very nice tactical base, and we can definitely improve upon it as well. Lipstick is saying trust in Ten Hag. Absolutely, I trust in Eric Ten Hag. I think he has won my trust this season. I want to see what he could do next season. I expect more from him. I expect us to move forward, and with a good transfer window, I think we can be further up that league table. Who else is down there? Rajat is saying United can make a partnership with Real to build one team. That could be the day, man. That would be the day. Who else have we got in the comments? McTominay was bad. Yeah, not great. West Ham won. Yes, they did. Says Lucky. And Big T says, I think we got top four because Liverpool and Chelsea had bad seasons. Could be more difficult next season. Absolutely. I think for sure we are looking at Newcastle United being a permanent challenger for top four football, at least for the foreseeable future. No doubt in my mind about that. Chelsea will improve. They cannot get worse than what they were last season. The big problem with Liverpool was their midfield. If they bring in McAllister, bring in another midfielder or two, they'll be right back up there. And Arsenal going to stick up there. City, of course, will be leading the pack. So it's up to us to keep pace with those teams, improve upon those teams, and go out and try to win. Win trophies, challenge for top four. That's what we have to do. Who else is down there as well? Rosada saying McTominay is like an Energizer bunny. Yeah, he's a hard-working player. I just don't think he's got the quality we need, unfortunately. Rajat is also saying, I hope Anthony isn't guilty, but I hope he isn't. I think it will be interesting to see what happens. We will be keeping an eye on it, of course. If anything does break on it, I will bring it to you guys as soon as I see it. And Rajat says Eric Ten Hag has overachieved. I do agree. I think we have. I think we have overachieved this season, all things considered. Top four, winning a trophy, FA Cup final without a recognised striker. I think that's a pretty good achievement, all things considered. Lee is saying we don't have to beat City to win the Premier League. We have to beat the teams who back in the day were just 3 points in the bag. The little ones, we know who they are. Second next season. Thanks very much for that, man. Do you know what? Arsenal lost home and away to Man City this season. But if Arsenal did not slip up in matches against West Ham, against Brentford, against Liverpool, they would have won the league regardless. I think the big 6 pointers, I think they're important for momentum, for mentality reasons, but make no mistake about it. If United went out and we lost against City home and away, Liverpool home and away next season, that's only 4 matches. We could still win the league there if you go and win nearly the rest of your matches, and it could be done. It could be done. Jinwei says, I want a striker before midfielder because a good quality striker scores goals and the limited chances being given. Yeah, a striker has to be the big priority. Bruno Fernandes, I think I saw it earlier. Now, I know expected goals and assists, they're not always the most reliable, but Bruno should have had around 17 assists in the league last season. The guy got 7. Look at some of the chances we waste. It's completely ridiculous. And hopefully with a good level striker coming in, we can improve on that. That's what we want to see moving forward. Rajat says we have to be more consistent. And I love Donny van de Beek, but he has to go. Yeah, I don't mind Donny van de Beek. I thought he could be a good player for us. But I just do think that he will be sold this summer. I don't think it's going to work out for the guy long term. Who else is down there? Lipstick is saying Romelu Lukaku to score the winner at the weekend. I can only hope so. Maybe Matteo Darmian assists as well. But I do really hope City do not win a treble. Begging for it. I'm absolutely begging for it, guys. I'm sure you guys are as well. He also got down in the comments. Lucky is saying, can we please get me Hoyland or Hoyland Vlahovic after a centre back? Yeah, either Hoyland or Vlahovic would be a fantastic signing. Lee is saying we need 2 new strikers. I do agree. I think we need at least 1, definitely 2 would be ideal. Eric Ten Hag, all season long, we've seen that he wants an experienced striker and a younger striker. So maybe we can get both in this summer. Free agent market could be an interesting one. Marcus Thuram of Borussia Mönchengladbach leaving for a free. That's a guy who scored 15 goals last season. Was in the French World Cup squad. He might not be a bad player to bring in as a squad player to fill out the squad somewhere. Rizat says Kim Min-jae and Varane will allow Martinez to step into DM where we need him to. I think what it would do would be a system change. I think realistically, what we will see next season, I'll try to envisage this out for you guys. So obviously, you'll have your goalkeeper. You'll be playing a back four. One of your fullbacks or centre back is likely to step up into the pivots, which would allow Mount or Bruno to push further forward. So you've got Casemiro and maybe Luke Shaw holding, with Delo just in behind. Got Kim Min Jae Varane, and then you got Leitzer Martinez. And I think that will be how we will go. Kind of like a 3-2-4-1 build-up structure. Something like that is a real possibility at United. That's how Eric Ten Hag has set his teams up in possession. Big T says, if Lukaku gets a winner, would you have him back at United? I mean, we could build him a statue, but I wouldn't have him back on the pitch, man. I don't think he will ever be back at United. I think the whole leaking team training results, the sprints and stuff, it really annoyed a lot of people at the club. So I wouldn't begrudge United for getting rid of him. For sure, Lipstick says, I can see Harry Kane in this team. I mean, I could as well. I think what he would offer is a lot of goals. He would help link the attack. He would drop deep. Bruno would push forward. He would find Bruno, find Rashford or Anthony off the right hand side. Garnacho. He does have that ball playing ability. Like last season, Harry Kane scored 30 goals for Tottenham Hotspur, and he was also Tottenham Hotspur's most prolific chance creator. So he was making the most chances in the team, scoring all the goals. I mean, the guy was kind of doing it all. And at the end of the season, he was only like 5 or 6 goals off Haaland, which was immense considering how poor Tottenham have been and how good City were last year. Lucky Singh says Julian Alvarez will score. I mean, I hope not. I really hope not. He does have a habit of turning up in those big finals and the big matches. Jinwa is saying Martinez is short, but because his speed and timing on tackles means that we're covered. Yeah, I mean, every player has weaknesses. Every player. I mean, Nemanja Vidic was always quite slow, I think. He made up for it by knowing where to be and tackling and being aggressive. Martinez, he's quite short. He knows when to jump. He knows when he can, when a header, when he can't. He'll step off at the right time. He'll win the flick on, or he'll make the tackle. He's very, very good at doing that. Rajat says, is Ten Hag looking at Onana from Everton? So there was something on that. I did actually mean to bring that up with you guys. Let me just get this up real quickly. There was talk of this breaking around about half an hour ago or so. I like Onana. I think he's quite a good player. Would be an interesting signing. So that's coming from The Athletic. They're saying Everton's Amadou Onana is on United's recruitment list, but he is not thought to be a leading target. I think he offers a lot to the team. Very strong physical player. Definitely was very good at the start of the season last. He did kind of tailor off, but so did Everton's entire team, so we can't say we're too surprised, all things considered. Big T says Berbatov is a perfect example of slow but knowing where to be. I mean, yeah, Dimitar Berbatov, what a player, man. But a lot of players are like that. I mean, Sergio Busquets has been one of the best defensive midfielders for 10, 15 years now, and he's never been quick. He's never been overly strong. He just reads the game well, knows when to pass, when to give, when to go, and football is as much a technical and mental game as it is a physical game as well these days. Lucky Singh is saying Haaland, Julian Alvarez will score the win for City. I mean, I hope not. I really hope not. I hope I hope Inter manage to hold on and win that match. Rajat is saying all players have strengths and they all have weaknesses. Yeah, completely agree. I mean, Lionel Messi is probably one of, if not the best player of all time. I mean, the guy was short. He was never particularly physical, but everybody's got weaknesses. It's how you play around them. I think that's what it comes down to. Big T says Maguire just has weaknesses, lol. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. I mean, Harry Maguire, sometimes watching him this season, you're sitting thinking, like, I could beat you in a race. I would get to that ball before you would. And you're talking about a professional footballer. It's never going to work for Maguire in a high line. It's just not. If United want to play it on the halfway line, we have to have pace covering in behind. Maguire will never work out at Manchester United. So I think what we need is for the goalkeeper, be it De Gea or another keeper, to come out and sweep up and behind in that system. Obviously got Wan-Bissaka, got Shaw, Martinez, Varane. they can cover in behind, but I think that would make us an even better system, all things considered. Lee is saying Brighton just proves you don't need to spend millions to compete. Plays a team for the team. Having one player who costs 100 million and plays for himself just doesn't work. Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. Playing as a team is as important. I mean, look at PSG. You're talking a team there with Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar. Could not win anything outside of France, struggled to win the French league for the last 2 years. I mean, proof is in the pudding. You need players to work together, to run together, and play as a team. And a good team will always beat a team of individuals every time. Lipstick says Maguire wasn't always bad. I don't think he always was. I think initially under Ollie, whenever we were more of a counter-attacking team, when we sat back and defended the penalty box, hit teams on the break with Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, etc. with their pace, I think Maguire was good. That was what he was used to doing at Leicester. I think the more we have progressed as a team, the higher up the pitch we've moved. I think he's caught out more. And it's not to say he couldn't go to a West Ham and be a good player again, because he probably could if he's just told defend the box, head the ball out when it comes to him. Very simply, I think he can do that. Who else is down in there? Rajat is saying frustrating. We could have got Alvarez for 10 million. Yeah, I mean, we could have got Alvarez for 10 million. Could have got Enzo Fernandez for about 15 in the same window. We didn't back Ranić with any signings, and he could have got us two very good young players. So yeah, it's frustrating. Lucky is saying I would have loved Julian Alvarez at United. Yeah, I would have loved him. At one point we could see the talent. We just had to go out and get it. But as always with United, we don't do it. We just never ever do, man. Lee is saying it's true. Harry Maguire has a record for the most own goals in a season. If so, that's awesome. Haven't seen about that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I think we've seen this season. I mean, Maguire came on 2-0 up against Sevilla at half time, and then all of a sudden it's 2-2, and he scored an own goal. So, Big T says Maguire did better under Mourinho parking the bus system. I mean, yeah, because park the bus on and counter attack under Ollie, and that worked. Yeah, and I think Lucky has got the point absolutely right. His skill set suits West Ham United, not Manchester United. That's a fair assessment of it. It doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's just not the right player for Manchester United, if that makes sense. There's plenty of other examples like that. I mean, some players are just objectively bad, and some players would be better elsewhere. Innocent is saying Herc Greenwood is going for a loan, and Rajat says Real is full of individuals, especially after last year, but they know how to work it. Yeah, I mean, I think Real Madrid have a very good tradition where it is seen that nobody is bigger than the club. Probably not the case at PSG. But I do agree with you there. And Lucky says Brighton are the best run club. Kim and Jai looks like he's signing a new contract at Napoli. That's sad. Says Lipstick. Has been reports on that, of course, tonight. But I want to bring you guys some of the latest here on Mason Greenwood. So obviously, story breaking today, and I was reminded of it there by Innocent in the chat. So according to Mike Keegan from Daily Mirror, Manchester United's internal investigation is ongoing, but they're looking for a move to see the 21-year-old head abroad for a year. Italy, Spain, and Turkey are thought to be the three most likely options. So, how do we stand on this one? Where do we think this is going? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes. Let me take that out. There's a lot of if, buts, and maybes in terms of Mason Greenwood. There's a lot of questions that we do have to ask. United are asking the questions internally, of course. This is something that has been ongoing for a couple of weeks. Now, Eric Ten Hag, he has said he basically has no real control over this. It will not be his choice whether Greenwood comes back or not. Now, according to Mike Keegan, this is a whole article the guy's done. Sending Greenwood on loan is probably their most likely plan. What they want to do is go out, have him on loan, see what the public reaction is going to be, and then from there they can make their decision. I mean, I would prefer United to be blunt, and I would prefer United to go out and make an actual decision instead of sitting and hiding behind public perception. But I mean, that's it. Lee is saying Greenwood buy. It could be, absolutely. Rajat says coming up 10-15 million to secure Kim Min Jae, so we don't have to wait to the first weeks of July. And Lipstick says Greenwood move to the Middle East is likely. I mean, anything is possible. We do know what Saudi Arabia is like for spending money at the moment. So it could happen. But I think it's just that it's kind of a little bit weak in my opinion. I think United are kind of like, we'll let the public make their minds up and we'll base our decision off that. I think that's kind of where they've been going with this. A lot of people did think that he would play for United again, and they might have been right. Let me just get this into the chat for you guys. There we go. Yeah, so what they want to do is go, okay, Mason, off you go. Go play in Italy or Spain and go out and come back in a year, and if the public are still angry with you, we'll send you on your way. If they do not care, we'll let you stay. I've said all along, I think the big thing with the Mason Greenwood situation will be, and always has been, how the sponsors are going to react to it. That's what I think will be the big thing. Rajat says, will they make Greenwood apologise? I don't know. I don't know if United will do that. Lipstick is saying, sounds like United are going to pay the 70 million for Mount. I mean, I'll check that. I really hope that we do not pay 70 million for Mount. I think a fair deal, we're talking 40, 45. At most 50. 70 million's kind of crazy. I really hope we don't pay that much for Mason Mount. Let me just see. I don't actually see anything on that at the moment, so I'm hoping that is true. There is actually something breaking here from Jack Talbot. Something I'm sure you guys will recognize. So this is kind of related to Manchester United. Now, this is actually a Liverpool transfer story. So personal terms between Liverpool and Nice midfielder Kefren Turam have been agreed. So Jim Ratcliffe's going to sell his best player from Nice to Liverpool. Come on. I mean, yeah, like, I'm sure you guys have been expecting that for a while. I mean, I've been expecting it. Has been one of those things you're like, this is going to happen. They're going to sell their best player to Liverpool. Who else is down there? Well, they get the price for 57 million from Mason Greenwood, says Lucky. I doubt it very much, man. I think we're looking at... You're looking at a guy who basically hasn't played football in 3 years. There's no way he will go for that much. Who else is down there? Rajat is saying United are going to play safe. Feel kind of weird about it. I think everybody kind of feels a bit weird about it. I think when it first came out, nobody wanted it to be true. Then for the longest time, we thought it was true. And now it's come out, there's been no prosecution. And now United are going and having internal investigations. And they're thinking, we'll just see if we can loan him out. I think they're trying to walk away from the issues. Big T is saying, with the Glazers staying, Greenwood is the least of our worries. Don't be surprised if they allow Greenwood to take the heat off themselves. I mean, I don't think Erik ten Hag would cave to pressure like that. I do think the Glazers could make a statement, could come out and say that Greenwood will be joining the club again, but I don't know. Lipstick says, think Thuram is a free agent. I could be wrong. I think I had seen, I don't know where I actually saw like a 20-30 million pound price tag put on him. I don't know. Maybe you are right on that one. Who else is down there? Chris is saying Mount is free in 12 months. Sign him up at Christmas. I mean, we could do. It would be the same as Harry Kane, for example. If we cannot get a deal done within the next couple of weeks, we can, and nothing happens this summer, maybe January, agree a pre-contract with them, and then we get them for free next year. That is potential. Jinwa is saying, I think 60 million is right for Mount. I think United means higher than normal prices. Yeah, I mean, that is always going to be the case. Always the case. United tax is very much a real thing. Rajat is saying maybe Chelsea will give us Mount for 65 million. I mean, maybe. I think a compromise will be found at some point. Jake Decem bid worth $7.4 million, says Lucky. Yes, I think that was the total in dollars. I think when we break it down, 1 billion of that is a pledge to Manchester United. So I don't think the Glazers will care too much about that. So it is about $6.2 million, which works out at about £5.4 million. So it's very close to what Radcliffe's valuation would be. Rajat says pick one way in Greenwood, keep him or let him go. Absolutely agree. Don't just make cheap decisions. I really like Adeyemi. Don't know why. I mean, I like Adeyemi. He's an exciting player, very quick. Didn't have the best season at Dortmund, but I think there's definitely a player in there. How about those Chiefs? His broke Americans. I'm assuming that's about the Glazers, man. And after 8 weeks of negotiation, Mount has gone. Mount has gone to United for 70 million. I mean, that probably will happen, man. It probably will happen. And Chris is saying 1 million. He is not. Sorry, 1 year left in his deal. He's not worth 80 million. Completely agree. How about those Chiefs? Says if he wants a club, take 6.5 billion, and it's worth more than that anyway. It probably is, all things considered, when you look at prestige, not by going by share prices, but I think this has gone beyond any sort of a rational deal, any kind of a rational sale. I think this is very much pay this amount if you really want it. And so far, it hasn't happened. I think the Glazers have moved the goalpost somewhat, but I think, unfortunately, I think Sheikh Jassim's going to have to offer more money if he wants the club, and I think it's all about, will that happen? Who else is down there? Coach is saying, when will Qatar take over? We can't be sure on that. I think tomorrow will be a big day on that, man. I think tomorrow we should have clarification one way or another. Either Sheikh Jassim will have his bid accepted or he will walk away in his own terms. He has said tomorrow will be the day where, if nothing is accepted, he's got to walk away. No more negotiations. No more going back in for more bids. No more looking more money. Lucky is saying Sheikh Jassim's bid is worth $7.4 billion. I think that is the dollar conversion. I'm not 100% sure on the currencies. I think $1 billion of that's going to be a pledge to United, and then from there, everything else would be for Glazer. Exactly, Qatar could try buy Glazers out more than $1 billion times. I mean, yeah, I think what they have to do is go out and pay ridiculous money. And if they really want the club, if that's what they are desperate to do, then I think they have to do. Rizat says, Mum and Dad are United fan. Are we talking Sheikh Jassim? I think his dad actually said he had no real interest in football, but I know there are photos of Sheikh Jassim with Manchester United kits on at matches, so I don't know, potentially. I mean, potentially. He else is down in the comments. Leah's saying, "Well, I've got an image of my head of their gym being skinned. Man's a permanent billionaire. I mean, he's got money. He does have money for sure, man. Not as much as Qatar do, all things considered. He else is down there. Lipstick says 7.4 billion, while the club is valued at 3.7. I think that's in terms of the shares. Obviously, debt on top of that, you're talking like 4.2, 4.3 billion. And then there's just the money the Glazers want. And I don't know. I genuinely do not know how much money the Glazer family want for this club. Rajat says her Jim wants to buy the Glazers share and not acquire 100% of the club. Yes, that's his plan, is buy up a majority of the shares and keep everybody else on. It's annoyed a lot of people. A lot of people want a complete takeover. They want their Jim, or, well, Qatar most likely, come in, buy everything out, and just have one man calling all the shots at the club. Who else is down there? Rajat says, with debt, our club is worth no more than 3.5 billion. And Big T says, I think we all agree we don't want Qatar workers building our new stadium. I mean, obviously horrendous conditions at the World Cup. You are very right to raise that. That is something that we've said throughout. There's definitely always going to be moral considerations with potential Qatari takeover, and it's frustrating. I mean, ideally, you want Radcliffe or whoever wants to buy this club, come out, buy the club 100%. At the moment, it is probably going to be Radcliffe. It will be interesting to see where it goes down the line. Will he eventually buy the Glazers out? You have to think so. I'd like to see some sort of a pledge. I'd like to see some sort of a plan. If he wins the race, if he buys the club, a promise to invest a certain amount in the team or a certain amount in facilities in the stadium, potentially. How about those Chiefs saying no going forward? Same old debt. Either the Glazers are dumber than a rock. I mean, yeah, take the money. I think you have to do that. I think what their plan is to have 50% bought out from under them by the likes of Sir Jim Radcliffe, and then hopefully they will want to buy the rest so they can hold on and make as much money as possible. That's going to be their plan in the long run. Stephanie is saying as well, at least it's not Friday the 13th tomorrow, no Halloween continuation with the Glazers. Must go. Yes, absolutely. Get those guys out of our club. We are done with them. We want to see a new beginning for the club. That is what the whole Glazers out thing has been about. We said earlier on the show, I mean, it isn't fans didn't march in the streets of Manchester, they didn't get arrested, they didn't storm the pitch at Old Trafford for 50% out or minority Glazer ownership. They protested for Glazers out, and regardless of what happens, I think fans will feel slightly betrayed. All things considered, Rajat says it's going to be the same, both the Glazers and their Jim, or talk about the Glazers alone. I mean, yeah, potentially. And Lipstick says, have we ever had bigger gangsters in Manchester than the Glazers? They've rinsed us all. I don't think we have. I genuinely don't think we have. They have rinsed this club. They have leached off the legacy, the name of Manchester United for 18 years now. It's very frustrating. There is Big T in there with, I would rather bid 70 million for Gonzalo Ramos. Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely love Gonzalo at the club. I think, what a player. So young, so talented. You're talking about a guy guaranteed to be one of the next big things in football, I think. Genuinely, you're looking at a top-level striker there. No doubt in my mind. Can do it all. Fantastic finisher, great with his head. His link-up play is very good. And he's only, what, like 22? And he's already benched Ronaldo for Portugal. Went on, scored a World Cup hat-trick in his Portuguese debut. I mean, that's the kind of guy you want at the top of your club, firing the shots at the club. Glazers are kids who want to throw every toy out when new toy books come. And Big T says, have you invited Sir Jim on for an interview tomorrow evening? I mean, man, I would love to. I mean, I doubt it's ever going to happen. I mean, I think Jim Radcliffe, I think the way he has gone about this, you're looking at a very cold, calculated businessman. The guy hasn't let a lot slip. He has spoke at the right times, made the right statements, turned up at the right times. Then you're talking, it is a business to him. He's gonna come in, he is gonna get the club from the looks of things. And that's how it's went down. Glazers should take the deal Jasim is offering, though it's more common sense, not to mention the club is not worth 6.4. What do they expect? 10 billion? If you get a value for more than it's worth, take the deal. I mean, a lot of people think that. I think what the Glazers are expecting is that with Eric Ten Hag, with the club playing better, with us doing better on the pitch, more TV money coming in, I think they reckon the value is going to go up. And if they hold on, they're going to make more money. And I think that's what their plan has been all along with this. They do want to try and make more money. Who else is down there? Is they would never get a better offer if they don't sell it tomorrow. I mean, they might not, honestly. Lucky Singer said United have confirmed any player. Oh, have United confirmed any players so far this transfer window? Not yet. A lot of negotiation to begin. We haven't actually gone into the official window. That doesn't start to the 14th of June, so another couple of days. I believe that's what, Wednesday. So a while to go yet on that one. Who else is down there? Big T saying, if you don't ask, you don't get. I mean, yeah, maybe what. Do you know what, man? I will ask. I'll shoot any of us an email in the morning and say, hey guys, do you just want to get Jim Radcliffe on the United philosophy? That's that is the plan. Just some quick challenges to bring you guys. We are currently working on getting that Discord server up. Don't worry, I have promised that I will deliver. Have got it basically set up. Just need to get a couple of messages and welcomes put into it and get some mod bots as well for the chat. But that will be coming soon, so keep an eye out for that dropping. Who else is coming down there? Any more news on Hoyland? Do you know what, man? Let me have a check here. We did have some little bits on Rasmus Hoyland to bring you guys that I haven't actually got around to doing yet. We always do manage to get swept up in the comments. And yeah, so Rasmus Hoyland. So most recently, Rich Fay from Manchester Evening News has said Eric Ten Hag has held multiple video calls with Atalanta striker Rasmus Hoyland. Very exciting potential deal here. We're looking at a guy who certainly one of the best young players in the Italian league at the moment, looking at around 40 to 50 million for him. I think could be a brilliant deal. We're talking about a guy who is kind of guaranteed, I think, to go up in value over the next couple of seasons. So it's a question, do we act now, be decisive, get him early? Or do we sit and we wait, and we turn around in a year or two when the guy's worth like 100 million and then try to buy him. I know how United have always worked. I know we are more likely to go and try to buy the guy in a season or two for way more money, but I hope we can be quick on this one for once. Lee is saying all comments great, 100%. Deal's already done. Welcome, Sir Jim. Please fix it. Club died the day it became Manchester United PLC. PLC, not a club, not a business. Yeah, I mean, part of the club definitely has gone, I think. I mean, let me see here. Look, I mean, I'm wearing the jersey here. Like, I mean, it doesn't even say football club on it anymore. It's a business. It's a brand. It's the game of football has changed, irreversibly. Absolutely. Rajat says the Glazers will buy another NFL team. I mean, I don't know the rules on the NFL. They already own Tampa Bay. I don't know if they can own two teams. Maybe they'll go and have a look at NBA or a baseball team. There was talk of them looking to start a cricket franchise as well. So we'll see what happens as well down there. Rajat says, welcome to Glazers. Clothes and shoe stores. I mean, yeah, I mean, anything's possible with those guys. Thankfully, this isn't an official top anyway. It is a replica. Wouldn't give them wouldn't give the money over for it. Who else is down there? We're seeing Lucky Singh saying, if it's me investments in clothes shops, top man. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, we know the Glazers are like, they'll want more money. Those guys are suckers for dividends, so they will invest their money eventually, try to make more as well. I mean, honestly, if I was in a room with the Glazers, I'd probably say, you guys are like what, like 50s, 60s? Go on ahead. Just take the money, live on a beach. Who else is down there? We need some United Philosophy microphones and some press passes. You know what, man? Honestly, the way the channel is going, the way it's growing, you guys, your support has been amazing. Maybe that could happen in the future. I mean, that could be genuinely a dream come true. I mean, at the moment, we're just kind of running out of my bedroom, but we do want to expand in the future. We want to put in the work for you guys. How about those Chiefs is saying if Jasim doesn't get the club tomorrow, for better than no United fans should go to any game and see how fast they'll sell us. And Lucky says, Big T, I would leave United straight away. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys want to sell. We want resolution. We want to get moving on. That is where we want to be as a club. We've had enough of all this dragging things on, all this months upon months of negotiations back and forth. Same news repeated every single day. We want to see something different. We want to get moving. We want to get sold for sure. Let's see. Rajada saying it's once in a life deal. I mean, yeah. I mean, if I was the Glazer family and somebody offered me like 5.5 billion for United, I would take it. I would go and live on a beach. That's not not that simple. But obviously those guys, they're always going to be money orientated, and that's probably why those guys are billionaires and I'm not. But I mean, I would just take the money, live your life. I mean, you don't need this anymore, and it could be better for all parties. Who else is down there? The day the music died was the song the Glazers were singing when they walked into Old Trafford. I mean, they absolutely could be. Fans have started to show that they want Jasim in and Glazers out as well. Says, how about those Chiefs? I think a lot of the fans do. There's definitely big supporters of Qatar. I think even on the channel, like we've run polls a lot over the last couple of weeks, asking you guys your thoughts. Do you think Qatar would win? Do you think that the Glazers will sell? And by and large, nearly every single vote was won by people saying Qatar was going to win or Qatar would buy the club. Who else is down there? Big T saying worth waiting for to buy a new shirt. Our sponsorship is likely to change. Yeah, that's a good point. Team Viewer do want out, so I would hold fire on anybody looking to buy a new shirt. I mean, I would be surprised if there was many people buying the away top. I know you guys definitely don't want to be wearing a Newcastle top with a Manchester United badge on it. As well, not go to one United game to Sim gets it. I mean, potentially. I mean, it's all about what the Glazers want to do, and what they want to do inevitably will probably come at United's expense. I mean, I'm sure that even Radcliffe ideally would want the Glazers out himself, but I mean, we're kind of at a point now where that's not going to happen. We know that they're going to stay on, most likely, should he win that bid. So, I mean, this is kind of where we are. It is frustrating. It's very annoying. We wish this wasn't the case, but it's where we are. unfortunately, with that one. So guys, I'm gonna leave the stream here. So if you guys do want to support the channel, please consider hitting that sub button. Helps us grow and helps everything improve on the channel. Keep an eye out on the weekend for the Discord server going up as well, guys. And thank you very much for joining with us after the technical problems earlier. And I'll see you guys in the next one.